Welcome back. Now, the matric final exams can be a difficult, stressful period for pupils. Rolling power cuts by Eskom add to this burden. There are now calls for the embattled power utility and government to minimize blackouts at examination centres. Matriculants are set to begin exams on the 31st of this month. For more on this, we're joined by Douglas Ngobeni. He is from Cosas. Douglas, thank you very much for your time here on eNCA and for coming into studio. Just firstly, this time is usually just a stressful time anyway. And when you speak to the pupils and students, because students are also writing their exams, what are they telling you about the anxiety because of blackouts?
Thanks and good morning to yourself and the viewers of eNCA who are watching from home. I think the message which comes from learners has always been clear, in a sense that learners have always required three things going to an examination. And the first obviously has to be prayer, because you need to pass it through certain spiritual stages when going to an exam. But secondly, you need to put in hard work, and some form of dedication. And unlike before democracy, where the government of the day would provide electricity to predominantly white communities, our government has taught us that under democracy, electricity or lights are a basic human right, and we are already used to such. And now when you come and say that you want to deny us an opportunity to study by taking off lights, it now means that you are adding to the already existing strain of examinations, because examinations are strenuous on their own. And if we have developed a certain comfort around the way in which we gravitate to our examinations, and you come and exonerate one of those comfort lines, it now means that you are just adding on the stress and the depression we find ourselves already in, because we are young people in South Africa, and already by the virtue of being a young person in South Africa, when you are born today, you already have stress. For the mere fact that you live in South Africa, you are already depressed for the mere fact that you are a South African. I mean, all other things, all other elements of stress and what's so not are already there for the mere fact that you were born here in Chrisani Baragwanas, your ID is South African. So when you switch off electricity during examinations, you are just adding to all these stresses which are already existing.
And when you say the government of the day, it's quite obvious you're even donning one of the clothes of the government of the day. What are some of the things that you have been saying as a young person to them? Because there are those officials within the ruling party that are partly to blame for what we're facing.
Correct, and at least you sound like you already know them, as I know them. But we always advise them, we always advise our comrades, because we belong to the African National Congress. In whatever space we are, every time we come across an NEC member of the ANC, we don't say, Pule or Mbalula, give us 20 rands. We say, when you go to your NEC meeting of the ANC, the first thing first which you should say there in that NEC meeting is that you must request that the NEC of the ANC must recall and fire Pravin Gordhan as the Minister of Public Enterprises, because Eskom today is in this mess because of Pravin Gordhan. And this is a person who we have said we do not have confidence on the moment he was appointed to serve as the Minister of Public Enterprises. And the advices, therefore, which we give to the comrades of the ANC who are in the NEC is that when you go to NECs of the ANC, you must not go there to look for a piece of bread for yourself and your family. The first thing first which you should do is to be considerate of the problems the people of South Africa are facing. And part of the most fundamental problems and crises the people of South Africa are facing today is electricity. And the perpetrator in this regard is Pravin Gordhan, because it is evident that Eskom is being sabotaged on a deliberate basis, so that at the end of the day, Eskom is privatized. It should belong to private interest, like Pravin has already done with SAA. So Eskom needs to be privatized.
Come in there a little bit. Although understanding that we are experiencing more load shedding than we ever had since 2008, and all of us as South Africans are wondering, it cannot only be Godan that we are blaming, right? Because there were those who came before him who, you know, as we saw it with the state capture report and the evidence that was brought forward, had put Eskom already at the back burner.
You see, my sister, don't put scams of documents on me. Don't say that people 9 wasted years. Don't say that people came before. What are you doing that you are in here today? Are you saying that it is a problem of those who came in 2000, who were there in 2008? That
it's a problem of everyone.
Are you saying that is it the problem of those who were here in 2008 that the power stations in Mpumalanga today are being provided with low quality coal so that they break down, and then there's load shedding, and then there is an insinuation that there is a crisis at Eskom, we cannot maintain Eskom, and then we need to sell it. So you cannot come and say, you cannot blame those who were there before.
No, I'm saying we shouldn't single out one.
We're singling out Praveen because at least, maybe let me just put it that under Brian Molefe, for instance, Eskom had at least 20,000 megawatts of surplus energy. And then today we are speaking, the South African energy grid is sitting at less than 3,000 megawatts. What has happened to the 20,000 surplus energy in South Africa? Are we going to still blame or pinpoint those who came before Praveen?
Okay, let's not digress, because if you want to talk about the Brian Molefes who are also facing charges, and we all know how we actually were able.
You see, me, I'm not the court. Well. I don't want to. I don't have any interest.
To move from that, what are the solutions that you are coming up with as the youth?
No, well, I think the first thing first, which was supposed to have been done by the Department of Basic Education, is to have an engagement with the Department of Public Enterprises to say that let us be cognizant of the fact that education is the major contributor to the economy, in the sense that it educates people to go and participate in the corporate world. And since we are going out to write our final year examinations, we are pleading with the Department of Public Enterprises to give an instruction, at least to Eskom, to say that between this time and this time, when learners are writing their examinations, let us at least sacrifice. If there are profits which we feel we need to make through this thing of load shedding, we'll do them in December. Groove is nothing. But now learners are writing. Let us not have load shedding for now, because that thing is possible. It is practical. We can go a month. We can go. Matric exams are only 1 month, and we can go a month without load shedding.
And so, of course, you know, there's the concern. Do you have any concern with the fact that we are already a country that is unable to create enough jobs for the youth that is graduating from varsity and even matric, etc. And an electricity crisis means an economic crisis, right? So once these students and pupils are done with their exams, where will they go if Eskom keeps switching off the lights and making sure that, for instance, industries are unable to operate?
I think this is the very much correct and relevant time where the young people of South Africa need to heed to the call we have made, to say that we needn't take nonsense from anyone going forward, because we know for a fact that the people who have put us in this situation is not even the ANC, actually. It's not this emblem. It is people who are in government today only working for their pensions, for the pensions of their great-grandchildren. You know, most of them envy the Ruperts, because the Ruperts today are still rich out of the inheritances of their great-grandfathers and whatsoever.
You're transgressing again.
And then I'm trying to say that we are in this situation because of people who are in government, and they are not entirely focused on developing the future of this country. They are developed on their focus on developing the future of their pockets and the pockets of their great-grandchildren. So the young people of this country should heed to the call which we have made to say that let us at least try by all means necessary to confront this nonsense. We have got nothing to lose, by the way.
All right, Douglas, thank you very much for coming to see us here on eNCA. Good luck to all the pupils who will be sitting down for those exams from next week. That was Douglas Ngobeni. He is from Cosas.